Alrighty, guys. So welcome. It is Team Tuesday training call, and as many of you know, maybe for the past month and a half, we've been having guest speakers. So, because we've kind of done away with announcements and all of that, just to keep our time, give them, we don't want to keep them forever, but if there's anything that I can maybe highlight or tell you to remember is that we still have several days left for the $49 join special. Make sure that you are, and within itself, the training today, Anna is going to really give you some awesome tips on recruiting. So make sure that you're using your follow-up system, that you're reaching out, because it's an amazing time to get them to join. Our fall catalog is in full effect, as many of you know. So this is the perfect time to be reconnecting with your customers because you have a reason to. So make sure that you're doing that. We have Scentsy Go that has taken off. So make sure that you guys, I hope you have one by now if you did not go to a reunion, because you should. And I think that's it in the way of announcements. I won't go into numbers. I don't see, oh yeah, I do see Lucian. I'm not going to go into numbers, but I will say that you guys have been on the recruiting. I keep on getting ding, 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 which is amazing. So keep that up. So really quickly, I had heard Anna's name way before I met her, so I kind of knew of the rock star that she was, right? But when we went to Becca, Lucy and myself went to Becca's retreat, as we usually always go to every year, and Anna was there, which is really exciting because I actually got to meet her. And Anna was one of the top 100 for the trip, the incentive trip to Africa. Like, to go on that is like, you got to do some stuff. So, like, that is not for the weak, FYI. So, I'm ready to hear from her because I know she does amazing things. And Anna was one of our Shining Star nominees for this past reunion. So that's a big that really speaks volumes of the person that she is. So take it away, Anna.
Oh my gosh. So you guys are, let me just say, so lucky. Like, I love Jessica. Like, I've been watching her. And so when I found out she was coming to Becca's leadership retreat, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to get to meet her. So you guys are so lucky. So I'm so happy to be here. I'm actually kind of like floored that I'm talking to your group. So that's pretty crazy. And it's like, highlight. It's awesome. So anyways, I am Anna Hughes, and I am a Scentsy director out of Montesino, Washington. I live out on the coast. It's about an hour and a half away from Seattle. So I'm ahead of you guys. Obviously, it's still sun shining here. So it's only 6:30 p.m. where I'm at. And I joined Scentsy in 2013. I discovered Scentsy in 2007. So for 6 years, I was a Scentsy user. I discovered it at a nursing convention in Lake Chelan, Washington. I went out in the lobby between sessions, and there was a lady with a table full of Scentsy. Fun fact, she was in Africa, so that was kind of fun. I got to actually re-meet her. But I bought a bunch of stuff from my mom and my sister and just fell in love with it like we all do. And I told her, hey, get a hold of me. I think I want to join you. Well, I never heard from her again. So we're going to come back to that. And I just bought Scentsy at like fairs and shows and other people's parties for six years. Yeah, 6 years. I started hosting my own just shortly before I joined. I was taking bag parties to the hospital where I worked. So working in the operating room up to 60 hours a week as a registered nurse. Take the bag to work. Everybody was like, oh my gosh, bought a bunch of stuff. My parties were like $800 parties. And my consultant, who was a friend of my sister, said, Anna, you should just join. And I'm like, oh, no. That's not for me. That's not what I do. I have a career. That's not my style. I don't have time for that. And then I continued to host with her. And she's like, Anna, you're going to get the hostess rewards and the commission. You should just join. You're really the only party I'm doing. Okay. So I joined with the idea that I was going to make $600 for Christmas. It was February. So I actually earned that pretty quickly. I did not earn the Shooting Star Award. I didn't. Because my consultant, my sponsor, she quit shortly after I joined because really I was the only party she was doing. So I was kind of on my own lone wolf style. And I was just doing some parties and I really had no interest in recruiting whatsoever. None. In fact, I was not into the whole team aspect of Scentsy at all. My sponsor now, because I've rolled up many times, I think 6 times I've rolled up now, I'm under Jamie Solons, who's under Jacqueline Roy, Allison Dahlke. You may have heard of some of them. In fact, Jamie would reach out to me and she would leave me phone messages and I would never call her back. She would send me mail and I would throw it away because I just wasn't interested in that aspect of Scentsy. I wanted to make some money for Christmas and that was it. So I was not doing anything spectacular by any means. Actually, it took me 2 years to actually get a team member. 2 years. 2 years I was with Scentsy. So February of 2015, so to the month before I actually got my first team member. I didn't want anyone to come in and steal my sales. I didn't want to have competition because if that happened, then I wouldn't have the same sales that I had. And I just really didn't understand what it meant for me had I decided to grow a team. So this lady on the other side of the US saw me on Facebook. It was my Facebook business page. And said, what is this Scentsy I keep hearing about? My friends love it. I think I want to join you. She'd never tried it before. Big generational gap, big time difference. She did not know how to use a computer. So I really kind of went from being on my own to teaching somebody how to use a computer, to teaching them how to do what I do. And that was really, really hard for me. It was really, really hard. But I was excited nonetheless because, well, she's not in the area, so she's not going to be competition, right? So I taught her how to do what I do. And I thought, well, gosh, if I can teach her how to do this, I could teach anybody how to do this. And I started to think about what the potential was if I did have a team. And now that I knew that I could train somebody, maybe I did want to build a team. So I started asking everybody. I started asking old neighbors, old classmates, friends, relatives, literally everyone I started asking. And thought, okay, well, maybe just 1 or 2 will join me. I'll just ask a ton of people. And people started joining like crazy. I had up to 9 recruits a month. In fact, I registered for Scentsy Family Reunion as a lead consultant. And that was in April. And at that time, they announced the Launch to Leadership Cruise to Cozumel. And I looked at these trips and I thought, there's no way I would ever earn a trip. Those are not for people like me. Those are for people at the top. I couldn't do that. I would never earn that. Well, I earned the Launch to Leadership Cruise in 19 days. 19 days! So I earned my first trip. I went to Scentsy Family Reunion. I promoted to director the very next month. And then that's when they announced the Disney World trip. I earned my first spot of 3 to Walt Disney World in just 6 weeks. Took my family to Walt Disney World and it continued to grow. And I thought, you know, what would be really amazing is if I didn't have to miss out on my son's life. My son, he's now 3. But when we went to Disneyland, he was just 2. And I thought, man, I'm missing out on things like my daycare provider would send me video of him taking his first steps. And I'm missing this to work. And I'm exhausted because, frankly, sometimes I'm going in the middle of the night for a ruptured appendix at 2 a.m. And then the next day is just not worth much anyways. So I thought it would be really, really great if I could just quit my full-time nursing job. And then I did the September after Disney World. And that gave me the fuel to push my business even harder and I earned Africa last spring. So we went to Africa back in June, and now we are just growing like crazy. I work a little bit as a registered nurse just to kind of keep my foot in the door, and my my coworkers are some of my best customers. So I still work about 5 days a month as a registered nurse. So Scentsy has been a huge, huge catalyst for change in my life. And that has been like unlike anything I could have ever expected. And where did that come from? Yeah, we had $600 for Christmas. Yeah, we were able to do some, projects around the house that I was able to share. But the difference was I started asking people and I started believing in myself. Right? So where do you start with something like that? Because for me, I mean, if you have a recruit now, if you have a recruit 6 months in or a year in or 18 months in, you're still doing better than I was. Because remember, I didn't even earn shooting star. I did not have a team member until 2 years in. Nothing really exciting, you guys. So how did we change that? We started asking. And yes, I was super scared about being rejected, people thinking what I was doing was stupid, being laughed at. I was afraid of all of these things. So where do you start with something like that? For me, it was behind the computer screen. It was on the other side of my phone, on Facebook Messenger and text messaging. And it started with a very simple question. The thing is that when you start asking people, you're going to need to make sure that you have a relationship built with them first. So a lot of this is going to sound like, yes, you can copy and paste, but if you don't have a relationship with them, they're not going to listen to you. So remember that you work in a relationships business. So having relationships and friendships with a lot of people is where you have to start. Okay. What I was sending to people was just, hey, Amy, have you ever thought of joining Scentsy? I'm having a lot of fun over here. It's so simple that it doesn't have to sound like a copy and paste because it's such a simple question, right? I'm having a lot of fun over here. You ever thought about doing this? Hold on. Okay. My battery is low. That's okay because I don't have a lot to say. So it's okay. And it's not obtrusive for you. You know what I mean? It's just something very, very simple. It's not overwhelming. It's easy for you to just say, hey, I'm having a lot of fun over here. Have you ever thought about doing this too? So start with that. Now, when I realized the real potential of this, about last year, I asked my team to do the same thing. I said, here's what I want you to do. I want you to send this message to 10 people. Hey, blank, have you ever thought of joining Scentsy? I'm having a lot of fun over here. Send it to 10 people. Because statistically, and I know Jessica will tell you the same thing, it takes up to 8 people. You ask about 8 people, you're going to have 1 person interested. And for every 8 people that are interested, 1's actually going to join you. So if you want, we're in the middle of incentive period, you want to get people to join, you need to ask, well, let's say we want to do 1 a week. 1 a week, that's 64 people a week. Why don't we make it 70 a week? Because that's 10 a day, 7 days a week, 10 a day, ask 10 people about joining you. Now, that sounds like a ton of people, and I get that. But when I started doing this, I recruited 41 people that year. 41. So it works. I'm telling you, it works. But the key with asking that many people is not just asking them and then moving along. It's asking them and following up with them, because most likely they're not going to join you the first time. Okay. So you're going to ask them, and then you're going to start creating yourself a little follow-up booklet. Okay. So I just used a spiral notebook because it's just something that was laying around from my kids, so it's totally fine. Get yourself a spiral notebook, and you're just going to put Amy Johnson at the top of the page. I talked to Amy Johnson on September, what was it again? Oh, we'll go back to questions later because I'm on my phone and I can't see them all the time. So you're going to put September 19th, I talked to Amy Johnson, and this is kind of, where we were with the process. Then you're going to give Amy a score. from 0 to 10. 0 is like, oh my God, do not talk to me again. I don't even like you. Nobody's going to say that to you. I promise. They haven't said that to me yet. And then a 10 would be like, oh my gosh, give me your link. I want to join you right now. Right? So you're going to give them a number on a scale from 0 to 10 about where that person is, because what that will do for you is give you an idea of when you need to follow up with them. If you think they're like a 3, you might give them several months. If they're like a 7, you're not going to wait more than a couple of days to follow up, right? Because they're pretty interested. So Amy's gets her own page, and every time I talk to Amy, I'm going to put a new date and what we talked about and a new number on that same page. And when Amy joins me, I just rip her page out and throw it away because she no longer needs to be followed up with as a potential recruit. So you're just going to get a cheapy booklet, a cheapy spiral notebook. And that's how I kept track of who I talked to. Because if you start talking to 10 people a day, you legit talk to 10 people a day, I promise you, not only are you going to recruit, but you're going to get confused about who you talk to, when you talk to them, and where they were on the spectrum. Because if they have any interest and you're so focused on talking to 10 different people a day, you're going to forget that you talked to Amy. And you're going to forget that she had some potential as a new recruit. And someone else is going to ask Amy along the way. And Amy's going to join with them. And we don't want that to happen because that seed was planted from you. So as long as you continue to follow up, that's where the magic happens, right? I know, I get it. It's kind of scary. You're so afraid of rejection. But realistically, all of that, it's mindset, you guys. It's 100% mindset. As long as you go out to feed the birds and not to hunt, you are going to express that this is a blessing, because Scentsy is a blessing, right? It's been a blessing for you. You've gotten free product, you've gotten some money, you've made some friends. It's been a blessing for you. But unless you continue to think about it as feeding the birds and they come to you, offer what's there, they come to you, rather than you out with your spear trying to hunt them and round them up and get them on your team, as long as it's in your mind that you are offering them a blessing, it's a whole lot easier to offer the opportunity to people. All right. So the mindset is you're offering a blessing. You're offering something that's going to change someone's life. All right. Also, just because they say no doesn't mean it's no forever. It just means not right now. Okay. So I like to think of the lady at the coffee shop who goes around and asks you if you want more coffee in your cup at breakfast. And sometimes you're like, no, I'm good. I don't want any more. But in 10 minutes, maybe you want more coffee. And if she decided that you said no last time, I'm not going to bother her this time, you might get a little annoyed that she didn't come back and offer you the coffee, right? You might be like, where is that waitress? I want my coffee. Because you know what? That waitress didn't come back to me. That waitress didn't come back to me when I thought maybe I would want to join when I discovered Scentsy in 2007. Do you think that that consultant that I re-met in Africa was a little bit disappointed that I didn't join with her? She was pretty disappointed. So you need to make sure that you go back and offer it up, because you never know when that time is going to be right for them. Okay. One of my favorite analogies, and I heard this from Katie Farner once, and I thought this was so good. She said it's like offering a stick of gum to somebody. Hey, you want a piece of gum? And they're like, no. And you don't go, oh my God, what's wrong with my gum? She doesn't like my gum. Do I have the wrong gum? Does she not like me? Like, it's not like that, you guys. It's all about mindset. There's nothing wrong with your opportunity. Your opportunity is awesome. There's nothing wrong with you. You are awesome. You can be an awesome sponsor. It doesn't matter if you've never trained someone before. I never trained someone before either, and I had a hell of a time training her. But I tell you what, once you've done it once, you can do it again. You can do it again. I promise you, you can take your business from an essential consultant for 2 years or certified consultant for 2 years to being limitless potential. Limitless potential. It's totally all in your mind and your mindset. All right. Another thing, when you talk to people, keep it simple. For God's sakes, just keep it simple, because it's so easy to word vomit on people. We get excited, right? And this was not an issue for me until later, because I I was offering the opportunity from the perspective of somebody who joined and made some money and was having a good time. Later down the line, it got a little bit harder for me because I was so passionate about the opportunity, about the trips that it had offered me, and the ability to quit my full-time career, and the friendships and the everything. You have to remember that you're recruiting from their spot, not your spot, because they're in it for, yeah, I'd like to get some free Scentsy, and yeah, I'd like to make a little extra money on the side. And the more you complicate it, and the more that you blah 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 blah, the more they go, holy, I don't want to do that. I don't want more homework. I don't want more work. I don't want more hassle. I don't want to deal with it. You've got to keep it simple, and you've got to keep it fun. All right. So remember that with that too. What else? What else do we talk about? Oh, Jess talks about the join, host, buy. I'm sure you've heard that before. But remember that if they just say no to your opportunity, maybe they will say yes to hosting. Okay, you don't want to join? You ever thought about hosting? Because guess what happens? If they host for you, you can flip them back up to a recruit, right? Okay, they don't want to host with you? Well, maybe they want some new fall scents. Work backwards. Offer the opportunity. There's nothing wrong with your opportunity. Your opportunity is incredible. Your opportunity is a blessing, and they will see it eventually. They may not see it right away, right? So this is all about you and getting out of your way. You've got to get out of your way. You've got to change your mindset. I know that it's scary. I totally get it. And if that means that you have to start behind a computer screen, fine, start behind a computer screen, because you know what? The more that you offer the opportunity behind a computer screen and get comfortable with that, the more that you'll get comfortable with the idea of talking to somebody in person. You have to start somewhere. You have to start somewhere, because it's only going to build on that. It's all right to start behind a screen for that security. I totally get it. And then you can move out from there. All right. So let's talk about some objections really, really quick, because I think that sometimes when people say, oh, I don't have enough time, or oh, I don't have enough money. And, you know, I was kind of a not very nice where I was like, oh, that's not for me. You know, when people say those things, a lot of times it comes from a place of fear. They're afraid of failing. And when you approach that, you need to be very careful not to make them feel like they're silly for feeling the way that they feel, because their feelings are valid and you need to validate them. So if they say, I don't have enough time, okay, it would be easy to say, what do you mean you don't have enough time? I worked 60 hours a week as a registered nurse, and I had two stepsons playing different types of sports, and I was pregnant, and my husband only is home 2 out of 3 days because he's a fireman working 24-hour shifts, and blah, 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 blah. Don't make them feel silly for feeling the way that they feel, because they're going to hold on to that. The best way that you can get through to them is validate them. So that's the feel, felt, found. You've probably heard that. So I know how you feel. I felt that way too. But here's what I found. Scentsy is such an amazing opportunity that I was able to work it when it fit my schedule and put it on the back burner when I had to. That makes somebody feel like, oh, okay, yeah, she does understand me, and maybe I can do this. I don't want to do that. I don't do that. Since that's not for me. I'm not a salesperson. I don't do that. What do you mean that's not for you? What are you going to do? Work 40 hours a week for 40 years and retire on 40% of your income? Is that for you? Is that what you want to do? That's not very nice. I mean, I know that sometimes we feel that way. It's like, this is for you. I want to like grab people and shake them and say, yes, this is for you. This is for everybody. This is incredible. This is amazing. You just don't see it. I know how you feel. I felt that way too. But here's what I found. People genuinely want to buy from somebody who doesn't have that icky salesperson vibe. They love that genuine feel that when you share something that you love, they believe you and they want to try it too. Right? It just sounds so much better and makes them feel like, okay, yeah, she understands me. She gets what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? So it's very important to make sure that you validate them when they have excuses. Because when you say, hey, Amy, have you ever considered joining Scentsy? I'm having a lot of fun over here. And she says, yeah, I have considered it, but, because that's the answer that you're going to get. Either they'll answer you and they don't, they'll see your response, they'll see your message and they don't respond to you. It's going to happen. Don't take it personally. Every now and then I open messages and I see them and then I don't respond to them and then I come back to them later. Or sometimes they just don't know how to reply to you because they're not sure about your opportunity. They don't understand it. But if you continue to live a Scentsy life and share how Scentsy fits into your life, I'm not saying you need to share graphics every single day of all the different specials we have or different warmers that we have. I'm saying show how Scentsy fits into your life, because people see that and they go, if she can do that, I could do that. Because I did that same thing. I've watched so many of these leaders in this company. And when I got to go to Becca's leadership retreat, I met a lot of those people that I've been watching for years. And when they see you and your kids smelling bars in the living room, or your kids labeling the inside of bars, or you in a selfie and you in your car, like going to Sarah's party, how Scentsy fits into your life, they go, I could do that. I could totally do that. So live that Scentsy life. Ask people. For goodness sakes, you got to ask. They're not going to join you if you don't ask. I mean, every now and then it happens, but they're not going to join you if you don't ask. You got to invite them to the party, you guys. You got to invite them to the party. And yeah, they may not join right away, but that's why we have to follow up. You have to follow up and you have to keep track of who you talk to, because otherwise there's no way. There's no way you're going to be able to keep track of who you talk to, when you talk to them, where they were on the spectrum of joining. But I promise you it does work. So I challenge you, friend me, because I'm going to watch. No, I challenge you to ask 10 people every day for the next 7 days. 10 people every day for the next 7 days. Put it on your planner. Sit down. You have a list of 100, right? List of 100. We're only talking 70 people. I want you to ask 10 people a day for 7 days. I want to see what happens. I'm so excited for you, because it really changed my business. It really, really did. So, I don't think I see questions. I guess, well, let's see. We'll swipe. Maybe I will.
I did see a comment. They said they love that. I love that too. That was pretty simple. I mean, it can't get more simple than that. I've never told anybody like that. I mean, that's cool. So I wrote that example down.
It's, is the easier, the more simple you keep it for you, and the more simple that you keep it for them, the more success you're going to have. Because if you give them this long message, they don't want to read that. They want to converse with you. So if you ask them and they give you an answer, when you reply, keep it simple again, because the idea is that you want to keep pulling questions out of them. You want to keep those gears turning. And if you give them they have what they need, they'll think about it, they're done. But if you can keep that conversation going, just answer the questions that they want to hear, and you will not word vomit, and you will keep their gears turning.
Love it.
Yeah. I think that's it for me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. Let me tell you why, because I'll just kind of throw out my takeaways really quick, and then if anybody has any questions, you guys, you have to unmute yourself so you can do that. But I love how because even me myself, and it was like an aha to hear you say that, because I remember my first year, I recruited 28 people, and I knew nothing about Scentsy. About direct sales, period. I was just excited, right? And I was just sharing that. So I think that that's so true. But once you become, you have so much success, you're so passionate, you love it because of everything that, it takes you and what it's done. I mean, I did find myself, it's crazy that you said it like that, because I never really looked at it like that, but it's so true. I'm like, oh, I want to tell them everything, and then I have to scale it down a bit, because they're like, you are crazy.
Yeah.
So I love that you explained that, because it is exactly what happened to me, but I never had heard it like that from anybody else. Um, that's cool. And I I think I'm gonna take my follow up a step more, and kind of put some extra pages in my notebook and make them. I love that you did 10 a day. That's massive action. And if you guys know Becca, what does she talk about? She did massive action. It wasn't, right now I'm doing 30 minutes a day of recruiting conversations, but now I'm going to kind of up the ante a little bit, and I'm going to do 10 people for the next 7 days, and see how that goes. Obviously, I mean, if you think about it, you're going to have so many more conversations back and forth. So, I love that challenge. I am going to personally take that challenge on myself. And what was my other takeaway? Just to live the Scentsy life. I think that, and you guys have heard me preach this all the time about what you post on your social media or on your personal Facebook, whatever, social media. Gear away from the buy me, join my team, workstation flyers, and a lot of the examples that Anna gave were amazing. You have to live that Scentsy life, and I think that's when people really connect, more so to you than, a workstation flyer.
Yeah, totally. It's totally, totally true. I get way more response when, I have a picture of my kid with a buddy. He's now going on 4, or anything like that. It's just how Scentsy fits in your life, because it makes it so much more real and more personal and more they can identify with you. So
Love
yeah.
it, love it. And Ashley said challenge accepted, so she's
It's never too late. It's never too late to build a team and grow and make amazing things happen. Truly, you can. It's all in you, what you do with it.
And guys, just like Anna's story, like, man, that should be like motivation for anybody that maybe is sitting on the call or will watch it again once I upload it. If you don't have any team members and it's just you, look, she's a freaking rock star, powerhouse director, and she didn't recruit for the first 2 years. It's never, ever, ever, ever too late. You just gotta want to make it happen. I'm at a football game, so it's loud. Thank you, Anna. That's Lucy. Anybody else have any questions? You guys want to unmute? I'm super scared, but I'm in.
Yeah. Oh, I know it's hard, but like I said, behind a screen gives you that little bit of security that you need to try it.
So true.
Yeah.
Anybody else, guys? Trying to see who's on here. Y'all are quiet.
That's good. No questions means I cut the call.
That means you rock the call. All righty. Well, you guys definitely friend Anna, because Anna has some app skills. I'm just saying, like skills that are the bomb.com. So friend request her. She's amazing. You can kind of see how she posts and what she does, and you can kind of when one of the biggest things that I would do when I would listen to calls is I would connect with that person, because obviously they were making things happen, and you get to learn and feed off of them by what they do, because obviously they're doing it right. So make sure that you guys do that. Anna, thank you so much. You're amazing. You rock.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. Yay!
We will be on that ship.
I checked that off my list of things I've wanted to do.
All righty. Thank you so much. And guys, again, if you have any questions, reach out to your sponsor, to your director, and go and challenge 10 people every single day. And I'm gonna post on the team page, and I'm gonna see how it's going. So
you can do it.
Thanks, girl.
Have a good night, guys.
Bye bye.